Have you ever noticed how some people seem to move through life with unstoppable momentum while others stay trapped in the same cycle year after year? The difference isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even intelligence. The difference is what happens during the first hour after they wake up. Right now, somewhere in the world, two people are opening their eyes to a brand new day. One person reaches for their phone, scrolls through social media, fills their mind with distractions, and unknowingly hands control of their day to the outside world. The other person gets out of bed with purpose, moves their body, focuses their mind, and starts building momentum before the rest of the world wakes up. By the end of the day, their lives will look different. By the end of the year, their results will be dramatically different. And by the end of a decade, they may seem like they lived completely different lives. The frightening truth is that most people lose the battle before their day even begins. They wake up tired, distracted, unmotivated, and reactive. They promise themselves that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And before they know it, years have passed without becoming the person they were meant to be. What if the weakness holding you back isn't your circumstances? What if it isn't your lack of resources? What if the real enemy is the version of yourself that keeps choosing comfort over growth every single morning? Because every sunrise brings a silent battle, a battle between discipline and excuses, a battle between purpose and distraction, a battle between strength and weakness. And whether you realize it or not, the first hour of your morning determines which side wins. The most successful people in the world understand something that average people ignore. They know that mornings are not just a part of the day. Mornings are the foundation of the day. When the foundation is weak, everything built on top of it becomes unstable. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of starting over, if you're tired of watching others achieve goals that you know you're capable of achieving, then this message is for you. Today, we're going to explore 6 powerful lessons that reveal why winning your morning is the key to winning your life. These lessons have transformed ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. More importantly, they can transform you. Because the person you become tomorrow is being created by the choices you make today. And it all starts the moment you wake up. Most people believe that life-changing success comes from one massive decision, one incredible opportunity, or one lucky break. But if you study the lives of highly successful people, you'll discover a completely different truth. Success is usually built on small decisions made consistently over time, and one of the most important of those decisions happens within seconds of waking up each now. The moment your alarm rings, a battle begins. It is a battle that nobody else sees. There are no spectators, no applause, and no recognition. Yet it may be one of the most important battles of your entire day. On one side is the voice of comfort. It tells you that you're tired, that you deserve more rest, that 5 more minutes won't hurt. On the other side is the voice of growth. It reminds you of your goals, your responsibilities, and the future you claim you want to create. Most people think that choosing between getting up or staying in bed is a small decision. In reality, it is much bigger than that. Every action you take is casting a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you repeatedly choose comfort over commitment, you begin building the identity of someone who avoids challenges. When you repeatedly choose action over excuses, you build the identity of someone who can be trusted to follow through. Your identity is not created by what you say, it is created by what you repeatedly do. Anyone can talk about success. Anyone can say they want to become stronger, healthier, wealthier, or more disciplined. But your habits reveal the truth. The person you become is shaped by the decisions you make when nobody is watching. Think about an athlete preparing for a championship. There are mornings when they feel exhausted. There are mornings when motivation is nowhere to be found. Yet they get up and train anyway. Why? Because they understand that success does not depend on feelings. It depends on actions. They know that every time they honor their commitment, they strengthen their character. Every time they choose discipline, they become a little more powerful mentally. The same principle applies to your life. You may not be training for a world championship, but you are training for your future every single day. The way you respond to your morning alarm is often the first test of your discipline. If you lose that test repeatedly, it becomes easier to lose the next one and the one after that. You begin your day already behind, already reacting instead of leading. On the other hand, when you get out of bed immediately and begin your day with purpose, something remarkable happens. You experience a small victory. It may seem insignificant, but your brain notices it. You prove to yourself that you can do difficult things even when you don't feel like doing them. That small victory creates momentum, and momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. Have you ever noticed how one productive action often leads to another? You wake up on time, so you have time to exercise. Because you exercise, you feel energized. Because you're energized, you focus better. Because you focus better, you perform better. What started as a simple decision to get out of bed becomes a chain reaction that positively affects your entire day. The opposite is also true. One weak decision often creates another. You hit snooze, then you rush through your morning, then you skip important habits, then you feel stressed and unprepared. Before long, the entire day feels out of control, all because you surrendered the first battle. The greatest enemy of success is not failure. It is the habit of choosing comfort when growth is required. Every morning gives you an opportunity to strengthen or weaken your character. Every morning asks the same question. Are you going to let your feelings control your actions, or are you going to let your purpose control your actions? People who achieve extraordinary things are not necessarily stronger, smarter, or more talented than everyone else. They simply learn to win these small, invisible battles consistently. They understand that discipline is a skill that grows every time it is practiced. They know that greatness is not built in a single moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary moments where they choose what is right instead of what is easy. The first battle of the day is never just about getting out of bed. It is about proving to yourself that you are capable of leading your life instead of being controlled by your emotions. When you win that battle, you don't just start your morning differently. You start becoming a different person. And over time, that person becomes unstoppable. Your mind is like a garden in the first moments after you wake up. Whatever you plant there has a powerful influence on what grows throughout the rest of the day. Yet most people never think about this. They wake up and immediately allow the outside world to take control of their thoughts. Before they even sit up in bed, they are scrolling through social media, reading messages, checking emails, and consuming information that has nothing to do with their goals. As a result, they begin the day reacting instead of creating. The first hour of your morning is more important than many people realize because it sets the emotional and mental direction for everything that follows. Think about a ship leaving a harbor. A small change in direction at the beginning of a journey can lead to a completely different destination over time. The same principle applies to your mind. The thoughts you focus on during the morning influence your decisions, your attitude, your productivity, and even the way you respond to challenges throughout the day. Many people wonder why they feel overwhelmed, distracted, or unmotivated before noon. The answer often lies in how they started their morning. If the first thing you see is negative news, complaints, arguments, or endless comparisons on social media, your brain begins operating from a state of stress and distraction. Without realizing it, you allow other people's priorities to replace your own. Instead of focusing on your mission, your attention becomes scattered across dozens of issues that add little value to your life. Successful people understand that attention is one of the most valuable resources they possess. They know that where attention goes, energy follows. That is why many high achievers protect their mornings so carefully. They don't immediately expose themselves to noise and distractions. Instead, they create space to think clearly, focus deeply, and align themselves with their goals before the demands of the day begin. Imagine waking up and spending the first few minutes in gratitude. Instead of thinking about problems, you think about opportunities. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you focus on what you already have. This simple shift changes your emotional state. Gratitude trains your mind to recognize possibilities rather than limitations. It creates a foundation of positivity that influences how you handle everything else that happens during the day. Another powerful habit is spending time with inspiring information before consuming entertainment or social media. Reading a few pages of a personal development book, listening to a motivational message, or reviewing your goals can have a tremendous impact on your mindset. The ideas you expose yourself to become the thoughts you carry throughout the day. If you feed your mind strength, discipline, and purpose, those qualities become easier to express in your actions. Visualization is another tool used by many successful individuals. Before the world starts demanding their attention, they spend time mentally rehearsing success. They imagine themselves performing confidently, overcoming obstacles, and achieving important goals. This practice conditions the mind to focus on solutions rather than problems. It creates a sense of certainty and preparedness that can dramatically improve performance. What makes morning mindset so powerful is that it creates momentum. A positive thought often leads to another positive thought. A focused action leads to another focused action. Just as negativity can spread quickly through your mind, so can confidence, determination, and optimism. The challenge is that momentum works in both directions. If you start your day distracted, you are more likely to remain distracted. If you start your day focused, you are more likely to stay focused. Consider two people facing the exact same challenge at work. One person began the day rushing, worrying, and reacting to endless distractions. The other began the day with intention, reflection, and preparation. When difficulties arise, their responses will likely be very different. One may feel overwhelmed and defeated. The other may see the challenge as an opportunity to grow and solve problems. The difference isn't the challenge itself. The difference is the mental state they created during the morning. Your life is shaped not only by what happens to you, but also by how you interpret and respond to what happens. That response is heavily influenced by the condition of your mind. If your morning strengthens your focus, confidence, and clarity, you carry those qualities into every conversation, decision, and opportunity you encounter. The world will always compete for your attention. There will always be notifications, distractions, demands, and opinions pulling you in different directions. But the people who achieve extraordinary results understand a simple truth. If you don't take control of your mind early in the day, someone else will. Winning the morning means choosing your thoughts before the world chooses them for you. And when you learn to direct your mind with purpose, you begin directing your life with purpose as well. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about success is that it comes from finding the right opportunity. They spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect connection, or the perfect breakthrough that will change everything. But what many fail to realize is that opportunities often surround us every day. The real question is whether we have the energy, awareness, and readiness to recognize them when they appear. Energy is one of the most valuable assets a person can possess. It affects how you think, how you feel, how you work, and how you interact with the world. Without energy, even the greatest opportunities can pass by unnoticed. A brilliant idea may seem impossible. A challenge may feel overwhelming. A chance to grow may look like an inconvenience. But when your energy is high, your perspective changes. Problems become puzzles to solve. Challenges become opportunities to improve. Obstacles become stepping stones rather than roadblocks. This is why the way you start your morning matters so much. The morning is your opportunity to generate the physical, mental, and emotional energy that will carry you through the day. Unfortunately, many people begin their mornings in a way that drains them before the day has even started. They wake up late, rush through their routines, skip movement, consume negative information, and immediately place themselves under stress. As a result, they spend the rest of the day trying to recover from a deficit they created themselves. Think about how different your day feels when you wake up early, move your body, and give yourself time to prepare mentally. There is a sense of control and readiness. You feel more alert, more focused, and more capable. Your mind operates with greater clarity, and your decisions become more intentional. That increase in energy doesn't just improve your mood. It improves your performance in every area of life. Physical movement is one of the most powerful ways to create this energy. You don't need an intense workout or hours in the gym. Even a simple walk, stretching routine, or short exercise session can awaken your body and signal to your brain that it is time to perform. Movement increases blood flow, improves focus, and helps eliminate the sluggishness that often accompanies a poor start to the day. It creates momentum that carries into everything else you do. Many highly successful individuals make physical activity a non-negotiable part of their mornings for this exact reason. They understand that energy is not something to wait for. It is something to create. They don't depend on motivation to appear. Instead, they engage in habits that naturally generate motivation through action. Once the body begins moving, the mind often follows. Mental energy is just as important as physical energy. Every day, you are faced with decisions, challenges, and responsibilities that require focus and concentration. If your mind is cluttered, distracted, or exhausted, your ability to perform at a high level decreases dramatically. This is why activities such as reading, journaling, meditation, or reviewing goals can be so valuable during the morning. They help organize your thoughts and direct your attention toward what truly matters. Emotional energy also plays a critical role. People often underestimate how much their emotions influence their success. When you are emotionally drained, even simple tasks can feel difficult. When you are emotionally strong, you can face setbacks with resilience and confidence. Starting your day with gratitude, purpose, and positive intention strengthens your emotional state and prepares you to handle challenges more effectively. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to attract opportunities wherever they go? It often appears as though they are lucky, but luck is only part of the story. These individuals typically bring a high level of energy into every room they enter. They are engaged, enthusiastic, and present. They notice details others miss. They build stronger relationships. They inspire confidence in others. Their energy makes them more likely to recognize and act on opportunities that less prepared individuals overlook. Imagine two people attending the same meeting. One arrives tired, distracted, and mentally checked out. The other arrives energized, focused, and fully engaged. Both are exposed to the same information, yet they may walk away with completely different results. One sees another routine meeting, the other sees a valuable connection, a new idea, or a chance to advance. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is energy. The truth is that life rewards people who are prepared. Opportunities often come disguised as hard work, responsibility, or unexpected challenges. If you lack the energy to engage with them, they may pass you by. But when you consistently build your energy through intentional morning habits, you position yourself to take advantage of moments that can transform your future. Every morning presents a choice. You can begin the day passively and hope that motivation somehow appears. Or you can actively create the energy needed to succeed. The people who accomplish extraordinary things understand that energy is not a luxury. It is a necessity. They know that the quality of their life is directly connected to the quality of energy they lend to each day. When you learn to generate energy instead of waiting for it, you stop relying on circumstances to determine your performance. You become proactive rather than reactive. You become prepared rather than hesitant. And most importantly, you become the kind of person who is ready when opportunity finally knocks. One of the greatest mistakes people make when trying to improve their lives is believing that success requires dramatic change. They become inspired by a motivational video, read a powerful book, or set a huge goal, and suddenly decide they are going to transform everything overnight. They create an extreme routine, wake up hours earlier than usual, commit to intense workouts, and attempt to change years of habits in a matter of days. At first, the excitement feels incredible. They are motivated, energized, and convinced that this time will be different. But after a few days, reality arrives. The routine becomes exhausting. The motivation begins to fade. The pressure becomes overwhelming. Eventually, they miss a day, then another, and before long, they return to their old habits. Not because they are incapable of success, but because they tried to rely on intensity instead of consistency. The truth is that lasting success is not built through occasional bursts of effort. It is built through small actions repeated over and over again until they become part of who you are. The people who achieve extraordinary results understand that consistency is far more powerful than intensity, because consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Think about a river cutting through solid rock. It doesn't happen because the water is powerful for one day. It happens because the water continues flowing day after day, month after month, year after year. Eventually, what once seemed impossible becomes reality. Human growth works the same way. Small actions may appear insignificant in the moment, but when repeated consistently, they produce extraordinary results. This principle applies to every area of life. A person who reads 10 pages every day may not notice much change after a week, but after a year, they have read thousands of pages and gained knowledge that can completely transform their thinking. A person who exercises for 20 minutes each day may not see dramatic changes immediately, but after months of consistent effort, their body, health, and confidence become noticeably different. The same is true for building wealth, developing skills, strengthening relationships, or improving self-discipline. What makes consistency so powerful is that it compounds over time. Just as money grows through compound interest, personal growth grows through repeated actions. Every positive habit builds upon the previous one. Every disciplined decision strengthens your ability to make the next disciplined decision. Over time, the gap between consistent people and inconsistent people becomes enormous. Many people focus too much on results and not enough on the process. They become discouraged because they don't see immediate progress. They expect major changes after a few days or weeks and lose motivation when those changes don't prosper. But success rarely happens in a visible, dramatic way. Most growth occurs beneath the surface long before anyone notices it. Consider a bamboo tree. For years after planting, there may be little visible growth above the ground. Yet beneath the surface, an extensive root system is developing. Then, suddenly, the tree begins growing rapidly. To an outside observer, it seems like overnight success. In reality, the growth was happening all along. The same is true in life. Every consistent effort strengthens your foundation, even when results are not immediately visible. Morning routines provide one of the best examples of this principle. Waking up early once will not change your life. Exercising one morning will not make you fit. Reading for a single day will not make you knowledgeable. But doing these things consistently creates a version of yourself that is stronger, smarter, healthier, and more disciplined than before. The challenge is that consistency often feels boring. It lacks the excitement of dramatic action. There are no instant rewards. There is no immediate recognition. Day after day, you simply show up and do the work. Yet this is exactly where greatness is built. The most successful people in the world have learned to respect the power of ordinary days. They understand that remarkable results are usually the product of unremarkable actions, performed consistently over long periods of time. Another reason consistency wins is because it builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you strengthen your belief that you can rely on yourself. You stop depending on motivation and start depending on habits. And habits are far more reliable than emotions. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you will feel inspired and some days you won't. If your success depends on feeling motivated, your progress will always be inconsistent. But when your actions are based on routine and commitment, you continue moving forward regardless of how you feel. That is where true discipline is born. The people who reach their goals are rarely the people who work the hardest for a few days. They are usually the people who refuse to quit. They keep showing up when progress feels slow. They keep taking small steps when others become impatient. They trust the process even when the results are invisible. In the end, consistency is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent. It is about understanding that every small action matters, every day counts, and every disciplined choice moves you closer to the person you want to become. Success is not reserved for those who can perform at an extreme level occasionally. It belongs to those who are willing to do the simple things consistently, long after the excitement has disappeared. And that is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. Confidence is one of the most desired qualities in the world. People want to feel strong, capable, and certain of themselves. They want to walk into a room without fear, speak with conviction, and face challenges without constantly doubting their abilities. Yet many people spend years searching for confidence in the wrong places. They believe confidence comes from praise, success, appearance, or the approval of others. While those things may provide temporary boosts, real confidence is built in a much deeper way. True confidence comes from trust. More specifically, it comes from trusting yourself. Think about the people you trust most in life. You trust them because they consistently do what they say they will do. Their actions match their words. The same principle applies to your relationship with yourself. Every time you make a promise and keep it, your self-trust grows. Every time you make a promise and break it, your self-trust weakens. This is why morning discipline is so powerful. The first hour of the day presents an opportunity to prove to yourself that your commitments matter. When the alarm goes off and you get out of bed as planned, you send a message to your mind that your goals are important. When you complete your morning habits, despite feeling tired or unmotivated, you demonstrate that your actions are not controlled by temporary emotions. Over time, these small acts of discipline create a powerful sense of self-respect. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. You stop questioning whether you can handle challenges because you have already built evidence that you can. Confidence is not something you magically acquire. It is something you earn through repeated acts of integrity with yourself. Many people wait to feel confident before taking action. They think confidence comes first and action comes second. In reality, the opposite is true. Action creates confidence. Every difficult task you complete, every commitment you honor, and every obstacle you overcome adds another layer to your belief in yourself. Imagine two people facing an important opportunity. One has spent months practicing discipline, keeping promises, and building positive habits. The other has spent months making excuses and abandoning commitments. Who is more likely to feel confident? The answer is obvious. Confidence grows from evidence, and discipline provides that evidence every single day. The most powerful confidence is not loud or arrogant. It does not need constant validation from others. It is a quiet certainty that comes from knowing you can depend on yourself. It is the feeling of looking in the mirror and knowing that when things become difficult, you will not quit. Every disciplined morning strengthens that certainty. Every promise kept builds another brick in the foundation of self-belief. And eventually, that foundation becomes so strong that challenges no longer intimidate you. You face them with calm determination because you know something many people never learn. Confidence is not given by the world. It is built by the choices you make when nobody is watching. Most people think of the future as something distant, something that will arrive years from now. They imagine that one day they will finally become more disciplined, more successful, healthier, stronger, or happier. But the truth is that the future is not created someday. It is created every single day through the choices you make, especially during the first hours after you wake up. Every morning presents a new opportunity. It is a fresh start, a chance to move closer to the life you want or further away from it. The problem is that many people underestimate the importance of a single day. They tell themselves that one missed workout doesn't matter, one extra hour of sleep won't hurt, or one day of procrastination is insignificant. And they're right. One day alone may not seem important. But life is never changed by one day. Life is changed by patterns. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. The person who chooses discipline every morning may not see dramatic results immediately, but those choices begin to accumulate. One productive day becomes one productive week. One productive week becomes one productive month. Over time, those small victories create a completely different life. Imagine two people starting from the exact same place. One consistently uses their mornings to improve themselves, learn new skills, exercise, and prepare for success. The other spends their mornings reacting to distractions, delaying responsibilities, and choosing comfort over growth. At first, The difference between them may be barely noticeable, but as months and years pass, the gap becomes impossible to ignore. The first person develops discipline, confidence, knowledge, and momentum. The second person remains stuck in the same habits and routines. The difference was never a single decision. It was the accumulation of hundreds of small decisions made every morning. This is why winning the morning is really about winning your future. Every sunrise offers a vote for the person you want to become. When you choose discipline, you cast a vote for strength. When you choose growth, you cast a vote for success. When you choose purposeful action, you cast a vote for the future you dream about. The reality is that nobody becomes successful by accident. Nobody wakes up one day and discovers that an extraordinary life appeared out of nowhere. Great lives are built intentionally, one day at a time. They are built through habits, routines, and decisions that often seem small in the moment, but become life-changing over time. The person you want to become is not waiting years ahead in some distant future. That person is being shaped right now by the choices you make today. Every morning gives you another chance to move in the right direction, another chance to grow stronger, another chance to defeat the weakness that holds you back.